All right, so definitely excited to be here with you guys today. We have some special guests here. This is like a dynamic duo if I've ever seen one. I love talking with Jaime and her husband Steve because they work very well together and they get some amazing results with some of the systems they put in place. Now, I know a lot of you guys are here. Let me manage participants really quick. So I'm going to unmute. I'm going to mute everybody, but Jaime, Steve, if you guys could just unmute yourselves when it's time for you to be up, that'd be great. All right. Okay, so good deal. All right. But yeah, Jaime and Steve put together some incredible systems to be able to really have a strong leadership presence amongst their team that's really helped their team grow in a big time way. And I think a lot of times when we're dealing with coaches, and Sydney can really relate to this as well, as there can be amazing coaches that are doing really, really good things. They can sell like 50 challenge packs, but sometimes it's like translating that to help people who are not necessarily intuitive coaches to be able to advance their business. And that's when you go from a good coach to a great coach, right? So we're going to be talking a little bit about leadership techniques and some different fundamentals that you guys can put in place here. A lot of you guys are pushing for elite. How many of you guys are pushing for elite this year? Yes. All right. So a lot of you guys are pushing for elite. November 17th is coming our way pretty quickly. And a lot of you are pushing to get your team's rank advancements in place before that time. So what we'd like to talk about is a few different techniques that Jaime and Steve have been able to come up with that will help you help your team progress as well. So Jaime, Steve, if you guys are ready, we'll go ahead and turn the time over to you.
Hi, everyone. Thank you guys so much for spending time with us. Hopefully you guys can take away something from this call and that this helped you. So I've been a coach for 3.5 years, and last year I ended the year at 1 star and I believe 2 star my second business center. I had 7 coaches on 1 leg. So I was like, more than enough elite points and 1 star. So that was a huge blow to my ego. And just kind of realizing way too late in the game that I could have been elite if I would have known how to do everything last year. And so I just want to share what we've done in the past 9 months that has gotten us to where we are now. So we are now 7 star in our first business center, 4 star in our second, and then 8 star qualifying in our first, and almost diamond in our third. And Steve is actually not even one of those diamonds yet. He is, we are working on it. We have like half an emerald to go. And then we'll be 9 star in first business center. So for us, it was something that we realized we needed to change in January. So becoming so close to such a huge goal, it was always out of my mind because I was building my business for income and ended up being super lopsided. A couple of my coaches who I didn't quite think were going to work the business ended up being my rock stars, and my people on my strong leg that I thought were going to be rock stars were just not there. And so this is something that we're like, well, we need to figure this out, especially because how close we were. I wasn't even premier last year. So what we have done is a big mind shift. So first thing talking about it was, instead of me thinking that elite was this, big scary goal, this is something that my team deserves to be recognized for. My team deserves to be an elite team. And instead of me feeling like this is a scary goal that I shouldn't share, that it's too braggy or whatnot, we shared this with our team like day one, like before January even started. Like we said, next year, guys, we will be an elite team. Like it's going to happen. And so for that, that kind of set the trend for our team, wanting to be like, for one, what is elite? What is premier? And because we weren't doing our job, because we weren't talking about it. It wasn't something we were pushing for. And this year, that's been a huge focal point. And I have 3 coaches that are on track for elite themselves, which is super crazy. And if we wouldn't have been pushing, they wouldn't have even thought it was important themselves. But they deserve to have their own full potential as well. And one of those is my sister, which is super great. And it's just been cool to watch her grow and inspire her team doing the same thing. So how do you help your coaches rank advance? Obviously, I think that's something that is the biggest struggle we all have. And it's really hard because you have some coaches who they sign up and you're like, she's going to be a rock star. Okay. We've all been there. Trust me. I've had many coaches gone away. I have a diamond who was one of my original diamonds who helped me get 2-star, who is barely even an emerald coach right now. And it was a hard part to have to let go of something like that because you love that coach. You want them to succeed. You've spent a lot of time with them. You've been on a lot of trips with them. But you have to know that every single coach on your team has just as much of an opportunity to hit diamond, star diamond, premier, elite as you do. And it's all in their work ethic. I run my team a lot with a lot of tough love. And we help our coaches rank advance by either doing push groups, so push to emerald, push to diamond. We run those ourselves, but a lot of our diamonds actually pair up and run them together, which is cool because then you take off a lot of the workload, especially if some of you guys are still working full-time jobs. Like, that can be very stressful. But being able to pair up your coaches and be like, why don't you guys do this together? 3 of you guys could do this, especially because some of my coaches would get so stressed out because they're like, I only have 2 coaches that want to do this, and we don't want to do a group with only 3 people. Well, if you add on 2 other coaches doing that, maybe you might have a group of 7, 8, or 9, and then they're going to actually post, and it's not just going to be crickets. Something that we love to do is use the app Voxer. If you guys don't have it, you need it. It's life-changing. It's a walkie-talkie app. It's free. You can do it hands-free. So what I like to do is you can actually be walking around the house, doing laundry, listening to messages, driving, hands-free. And so we're kind of coaching our coaches through this group for any of those that are pushing. They end up using it for their teams as well. But it's really great because for me, a voicemail is like nails on a chalkboard. Like, even though I know what the person's going to say, my dad leaves me a voicemail all the time, and I'm just like, I don't want to listen to this. Where Voxer, if your people are working full-time, they can check in at any time. So they can listen to the message on their lunch break. They can respond after work. Or for those of you guys that set boundaries with your business, you can turn those notifications off so you don't feel like you're just getting blown up all the time, which can be exhausting. Who should you be focusing on in this business? The ones that are ready to go with you, that are going to run with you and do this with you. Obviously, we were just talking to our diamonds today. It's so hard when you have one coach who is 5 or 6 active coaches in, maybe one of those is an emerald, and you're like, she's going to be my diamond. That's who's going to make me 1-star. That's going to be my last person for elite, whatever it may be. Don't focus on just one person. I'm telling you now, you might have people fall out. If I still was relying on my one coach who was one of my original diamonds to help me hit elite, I would have never hit elite. I had to move on from her. That can be really hard. It can be really sad. But
it took us a year to say goodbye to her.
Yeah.
Too, so that was tough.
We spent a long time with her. And it's great because now I can tell my coaches to not do that because I spent a lot of time doing that. But work with those coaches that are like ready to go with you. They should be hitting Success Club just like you are. If you yourself aren't hitting Success Club, your coaches shouldn't be hitting Success Club because it's kind of like monkey see, monkey do. Yeah. Really talk about like what do you want in a leader? Because that's what you should be doing. Your coaches are going to follow suit. If you are listening to the recording of the National Wake Up Call and you can listen to it live, your coaches are going to think, why do I have to listen to it live when JV's listening to the recording every single time? They will literally do exactly what you're doing. If you're showing up on mastermind calls and showing that you represent your team, they're going to do the same thing. And it's hard because it's like sometimes people are like, I am ready to go 100%. I'm ready to do this, make this my full-time job, and then they disappear after a month. And if you're only relying on that one coach to help you hit elite or premier, you're going to get burned and it's going to suck.
Yeah. And on top of that too, like what we call it is management mode. And we try to always check ourselves because it's so easy to fall into management mode and say, okay, you guys go be diamonds. I made you a diamond, and just trickle down. And that kind of puts your business at a halt. And like really watch out for that because it can sneak up on you. If you start relying on people and everything like that, you get away from those things like Jamie was saying with hitting Success Club and recruiting on your own. But those are the actions that make them rank advance too. So if you just get caught up with trying to motivate them to do it on your own and you're not doing it yourself, they lose that whole perception of why they actually need to be doing it because you're doing it, and so on and so forth. So that actually, like, we've had a lot of talks with our upline too, Rob and Chelsea, and it's crazy how that whole management mode can sneak in, and just before you know it, you are not working on your business at all. You're working on theirs and hoping that you can help them build and everything. So always make sure that you're keeping that whole 80-20 rule. 80% sign coaches on your own, because the only way that you can get to a point where you're always working with the willing is by bringing new people in. Because when somebody that you're banking on becomes unwilling, it's so easy when you have new people coming in, just be like, fine, I'm going to put my energy towards somebody who's going to get something out of it. And, converse at the same time, it might be just what that person needed was for you to step back and not help them and get to the point where they can figure out how to do it themselves. So having people always coming in allows you to do that. And whereas management mode will bog you down quick.
Quick question for you guys. So you brought up an amazing point of working with the willing, right? And you have so many people who are on the team. And if you were to ask somebody, like, do you want to go diamond this month, or are you in it? Most of the time they're going to say yes, right? So how do you guys identify who's in it? What's the trigger that you guys utilize to understand where you're pouring your time when you do work with your team?
I mean, I would say just the ones that are showing up, like the ones that are, checking in with us and making it known who they are, especially the newer coaches. Because a lot of the coaches that are kind of like more on the sidelines, they're waiting for me to like work their business for them. And that's not what this is. I would love to make everyone diamond, but we just can't. It's not the way this works. But I think what Steve was saying, don't just focus on, doing the basic things. Like, you have to be recruiting too. You have to be showing your team that if they're not doing it, you're going to keep moving on. Like, you've got a business to run yourself. And it kind of shows that, like, you're still going. Like, you're not just going to wait for those people that are having their feet in the mud. And like what I've kind of seen with my team is when I have someone that's just freaking rock star and comes in and is just like killing it with everything, I shout that coach out a lot. I shout them out a lot and give them tons of credit. And I go a little overboard and talk about every post that they're doing. And because I'm obsessed with them, and they deserve all that recognition. So all those coaches that for the last 6 months have been like, oh, well, I'm going to work the business, and they don't do anything. Sometimes that's their little cue to be like, all right, I'm done with the excuses. Like, let's do this.
I think one thing that we really look for too is to see who's willing to do the hard stuff, who's willing to post more than one time per day, and who listens to what we tell them too. Because if they're not showing up on the team call or anything like that, it's pretty obvious to see their commitment level through that. But when we see somebody who's being vulnerable, who's sharing their journey when they just had before photos, like, that's the hardest thing you can possibly do. So when we have somebody who's showing their commitment level like that, we know to go all in with them. And especially when somebody, we have people who sign coaches before we tell them how to do it. And that's a pretty easy trigger for us to see that they're going to do all the hard stuff that we know. You're either going to get beyond that stuff, or you're never going to get past it. Because if you're not willing to embrace those insecurities, as everyone else here knows, you're never going to even get started. So as soon as we see somebody break through that barrier, that's a pretty easy thing for us to pick up on. So,
well, we've been doing a lot of like little challenges in our PS group. Like, we have a group that's my team name is Team Fight to Finish. So we have TFTF Emeralds. So we have all the Emeralds in our entire downline in this group. So what we do, and then my other diamond coaches, is we're all in charge of like making sure we're adding content to that. So it's kind of like more of an exclusive group. So this weekend, I just made a point like, hey guys, it's Sunday. For those of you guys that are getting ahead of the week and working your businesses now, when we're not at our corporate jobs, I challenge you guys to do a live video. And the people that end up actually doing stuff within that hour, like, their engagement goes up, their business goes up. I shout them out. I'm like, oh my gosh, you guys are rock stars, like, way to go. And then I see all these other people that aren't doing it, and it just goes to show you right there, like, who's willing to actually do this or not. when I wasn't full-time with Beachbody, I was working 4 other jobs, and it was like I did everything that I could that my coach gave me the opportunity to do. If she told me, hey, you should do more of this, you should do less of this, I changed everything because I was all in. I was trying my hardest to do everything that I could. And so when we see coaches like that, it's like we just know we need to work with them. And when they're hitting Success Club 10 and we've barely even worked with them, it's like, okay, like we need to spend a little bit extra time with her. Really though, like elite happens because of Success Club with you, with your coaches. And if you're leading by example consistently every single month, you can be elite. You can be, you can do this. For us, we knew that we wanted to be elite in the beginning of the year. So we went hard with a huge incentive for the first month. And it was Success Club 5 and 10 5 got tank tops and 10 got these jackets. Steve used to be an Oakley athlete, so we like went super big and it ended up being a lot more money than we thought we were dealing with, but it set the bar so high for our team because everyone wanted that freaking present. And ever since then, it's like Success Club, like our team just knows that's a part of their business. And we do incentivize. We sometimes do things that are smaller that's like, and I incentivize for my PS coaches. I've had people ask me that, just my PS coaches, not for our entire downline. But, sometimes it's a $50 gift card for the top Success Club earner or the top recruiter. It's things that we're trying to show like, yes, you guys deserve to be recognized for this, even though obviously Beachbody gets us awesome recognition too. But we knew we wanted to do that. So it was like, how do we get the team to know this is a part of our team culture right from the get-go? We hit it hard. And obviously, it totally paid off. But
and what I would just add too with that is like it is an awesome way to let people know that it's serious. But the one thing I would add, it's always the Beachbody disclaimer is make sure you guys check the P&P, right? To make sure the incentives you're putting in are going to be okay with compliance. Because sometimes you go into it with good intentions and then it can get you in trouble if you don't do it in the right way, right? So just check the P&Ps, make sure it's good to go.
Yep. We here?
Yes.
Okay. So really, I know you guys are all pushing to be elite this year. So what we're talking about, obviously you've been working towards elite points all year, but with rank, how to hit 5-star before the end of the year. Our secret sauce, I know we talked about this with Joe at dinner too. The main thing that has built our team up rank-wise very, very quickly is doing a diamond internship. So I want to talk to you guys about doing that. I'm sure all of you guys have pushed to diamond groups, right? Everyone? Those don't really work great. I don't know how much experience you guys have with them, but basically what we've seen is that when we put everybody in a group, let's say we have 5, 6 emeralds or something like that, we want them all to be diamond. They kind of gauge each other and to like kind of set the bar, right? So if one of them hops out too quickly, they excuse her and they're like, oh, no, she's kind of an anomaly. So I'm going to just hunker down with these 5 here. And just as soon as a couple people sign some coaches, that's when I should be signing coaches. And nobody really holds themselves to a higher standard. So we decided to rip everybody out of that and just do an internship. So specifically what we do, and if you guys do this right, you can hit 5-star by the end of the year. If you're 1-star now, easy. So what we do is we select one person for a month. And it's very intentional because obviously, there's 12 months in a year. Anybody would be super stoked on rank advancing 12 people to diamond. And if you throw 30 people in a group, we all know maybe one of them will hit. So we choose one person. We make them apply for it. So we ask a lot of questions, which you could come up with anyways, but just nothing really special. With their commitment, their why especially, we want them to give them a chance to kind of pour into us to show us how bad they want it. But we'll grab one person, and we like to find them in the 4 to 5 coach range. So somebody who's not just an emerald, but who is kind of proven that they know very simply how to sign coaches and that they're willing to have those conversations. Because if you grab somebody who's too soon, a fresh emerald who signed up their boyfriend and mother, they might still be petrified to actually reach out to the public or put it on their page and everything like that. So don't get that person. Although that's a great way for them to get started. But find somebody in the 4 to 5 coach range who's willing to do it. Pick them. And what we did is we have a team call with, I don't know, maybe 50 to 100 people show up on it. But even if you have a group of 10 or more, shout them out on your team call and let everybody know that, May's coming up. This is our May Diamond intern, and put it in your team page and just kind of put them on the spot. You want as much pressure on this one person as you can, because they will know, like, I'm expected to go diamond in this month. If I don't do this, I failed. And if I did do it, great. I rose to the occasion. So all that pressure, you guys have no idea how much that will influence somebody to actually get it moving. They don't want to be seen publicly on the whole team page as a failure. Funny thing is, we've done this 5 times, something like that.
Every other month in January.
All but one person has hit diamond. And the funny thing is, all of those applicants who you didn't pick have like a vendetta against the whole process, and they hit diamond anyways, because they're like, you know what, I don't need this internship. I'm going to do it this month because I didn't get picked. Works on both sides.
And they don't always hit in that month that we're doing an internship. Only one person has out of the 5 that we have.
Yeah, and that's okay, because we don't construct it that way. So the biggest thing, we do 2 calls a week, one for her, one for myself, and we'll just kind of check in with them. We'll go over the basic stuff, what their presence on social media is like. I'll audit their social media and just kind of let them know how they're trending and like what things they're doing well versus things that we found not to work. So we'll do stuff like that. But really, in between these calls, we will make their assignments to reach out to 20 people. And they're like, oh, okay, easy. Well, they'll go out, reach out to 20 people for a challenge group. 21-day fix works awesome, just because the timeline, you can get people crazy results very, very quickly. So we use that pretty frequently. But they'll come back to us and say, well, I reached out to 20 people. I've got one person that's interested. So, it was okay. What should I do now? And we're like, go reach out to 20 more people. And we'll do this. And they're like, okay, this is pretty straightforward. So they quickly get into reaching out. And as you know, it's just a number at that point. Like you can get 100 people if you try hard enough and go through 1,000. So we do that. They fill up a 21-day fix challenge group, which they'll just lead openly. And one thing I have them do is be incredibly vocal, because if you have a leader who's not vocal in a challenge group, the challenge group sucks, So what I do is I have them get a notepad and put every single person's name in the challenge group at the top of one sheet of paper. Next person. So they can flip through and see how many touch points they've had with each person. They can see, okay, I had a conversation with her about this. More importantly, they can see what's missing with a few people. If they have people that aren't responding or anything like that, it's blaring on a sheet of paper when you have no notes under somebody. So just by doing that, a lot of people aren't sure what the workload consists of for beach band. It's like, there it is. Go check in with all of your challengers 3 times a week each. So we put that kind of care into a challenge group too. And it works amazing. I mean, every one of these challenge groups has probably gotten, I don't know, a minimum of 4 to 5 coaches, enough to get them up immediately from where we grabbed them to around diamond. And so it takes each person, like Jamie said, they usually never actually do it within that month, but it's within like 2 weeks after that, they'll hit diamond. And then somebody on the sidelines will hit diamond too at the same time. Then we'll run another push group. So that's basically in a nutshell what it is. But if you guys do that, I mean, you have 3 full months of the year left, a little bit of change. If you do that 3 times, you can really expect to get a couple diamonds out of that if you're doing it correctly and having them run good challenge groups too, which I think is the unsung hero of the whole thing, is running a great challenge group in that month. But it can do really crazy things. You can get 5-6 diamonds in 2-3 months just by doing it that way.
So to answer some of your guys' questions, we don't actually have a list. And the reason why is because every coach is different. Every coach is going to have strengths and weaknesses completely different. All 5 of our coaches that we've spent time with, their things that they needed to work on were all completely different. Some of them were afraid of reaching out. Some of them, their social media was not good. Or I guess it's anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour, but when we're on the call with them, we will be here in our office. So we have our desktop. We will be on FaceTime with that coach on here so that we can go and look at their like pages and their Instagrams and pull it up. So we're going back and forth and being able to go through. So like with this, they know that this internship is a higher level thing. So we're not afraid about hurting their feelings if it's Instagram. Like, we are very specific, and if they don't do call to actions, we say that's your homework this week. Your homework is the call to actions, or like the reach outs. Like, our first coach that we did it with, her social media presence is unreal. It's way better than mine. And she was so afraid of reaching out that's what we had her do all the time. And we had her screenshot us what she would send to people, and we like fine tune a couple of her posts, like helping her do these things. I can definitely share with you guys our application. I'll post it in the group. But we decided to do this every other month just because Steve is now full-time with me doing coaching. But before that, he was working full-time job, and so when he would do his calls, he would come home from work and he would have to fit the calls in at night. And so we just did every other, because it is very time consuming. I mean, this isn't just an internship that it's like, all right, I'm going to choose to do this. I'm going to get a diamond. Like, it takes a lot of work on your part. Like, that's why we do one person at a time. If you wanted to rev that up and do two, power to you. So it kind of just depends, what you're willing to put in for this and how important Elite is.
Yeah, and I think on top of doing an internship, I mean, we have a huge, huge opportunity too with Core de Force coming out. So like, one of the biggest things that's ever happened to our business was when we started preparing for these launches a long time ahead of time, getting the whole team, our downline, their down, everybody into a group of people that want to do it. When Hammer and Chisel came out last year, our business more than doubled because, for one, we did it together. So everybody brought their spouse in who had no idea what Beachbody was or wasn't involved to that point. So we just had this massive group of people stoked to do Hammer and Chisel, and we're going to do the same thing with Core Divorce. So with that, timing is going to be awesome because you guys will see a huge, huge boost in your businesses if you hype it up for a long time and get everyone pumped to do the same.
Well, I think a big part that fires up our coaches and gets them started off right when they're just starting is Steve is so adamant about the fact that, okay, great, you come in here saying you're ready to work the biz, those people. Okay, you have to get results. You have to show that this is actually working and that you're doing it. Because I've had my fair share of coaches who are like, all right, what do I do? Ready to go. And then I'm like, okay, you need to do, like, you sign up with a fix. And they're like, oh, well, I've only done about, 4 of the workouts this week. It's like, what are you doing?
It's such a big pet peeve when I have somebody who signs up and like, oh, they signed up today. They're ready to work the business. I'm like, they don't even know what the business is. They've never done a program. Like, come on. So yeah, that's why we always just do challenge groups. Like when my brother signed up and he wants to work the business long-term too. So I had him do Hammer and Chisel before he ever made a peep on social media. So you do a program, you get great results, you show everybody what you just did in that, and then 2 weeks later, after you hype it up a couple times, you call everyone to do it again with you. They just saw that the program works, and now they're actually willing to do it. So that's kind of step one of coaching for me. So once you bring new people on, and especially explaining that to diamonds to help them with all their coaches is huge, because that's the way to correctly grow. And if you try to do anything too fast, it's going to blow up in your face.
His brother has like wicked abs too. I met him in Grand Rapids. He's rocking it.
I pulled up his shirt right when he met you up.
And I was like,
the
wow.
6'7" beast.
So I got a question for you guys. So we talked a little bit about, this diamond mentorship, right? And picking coaches that are kind of on their way there, right? And you guys talked a little bit about doing push to emerald groups, push to diamond groups, things like that at the beginning. do you use those groups to kind of create like a farming system for this diamond internship? Because, you know, you need to have people who are in the ball game, right? Who are halfway there, or maybe a little bit more there. How does that work for you guys?
So this year I've done a couple push to emerald groups, but no push to diamond groups. For me, like what Steve was saying, like last year, my most successful one had 5 people in it, and 1 hit diamond a few weeks later. The rest of them just stopped. And it was so frustrating because they take a lot of time, and I was running it by myself. Like one of the questions we ask in our application for the internship is, okay, so say it's May and you've applied, like, what are your successful points to date? January, February, March, and we say in there specifically, if you guys are not yet selected for this month's mentorship, we will be looking to see what you're doing in the off time until the next internship. Because I've had people apply 4 times now and they're getting success code 0, 0, 1, 2, and it's like, okay, this internship, like me and Steve aren't just doing all the work. Like you're doing the work. We're just figuring out where you struggle. And if they're not at least hitting Success Club, how are they going to hit diamond? Like there's just no way. So that's kind of how we end up choosing. And then we figure out, like Steve said, we're looking for the people that have like 4 to 5 active coaches. And, you know, even if they're all discount coaches, that's something great to work with. But we want to see that, you know, what they're doing. One of the questions also is like, how much time do you put in your business? If it's an hour a week, that's not going to get you diamond. It's hard to get there, you know. The hardest part of your business is going from diamond to 2-star. Like that gap right there is hard. It's really hard. But we're just looking for the coaches who are doing it, because even though they weren't selected, they're like, I'm still going to do this. I'm going to take advantage of, you know, all like YouTube. How many amazing coach videos are on there? Like I can't tell you how many coaches I've learned from, and especially in the beginning when I had no idea what I was doing, I would just YouTube things, and it was like, cool, it's all here, it's free.
Yeah, one important point I think too that you touched on is everybody that applies, we respond to each one. We take a lot of time to respond to every single person who bothers to apply, and to tell them exactly, you know, what we think about their business, what they can do better. We don't get really like nitty gritty into it, but what we'll be looking for them to do specifically in the next coming months, because you never want anybody to take that kind of time to pour into you and then don't reply to their application. So we sit down and we'll message every single person, which kind of lets them know that we're still watching them too. We might not have picked them for that specific slot, but we just tell them, you know, how excited we are to see them grow, and that they're, you know, what they need to do to be selected. And a lot of those people push so far beyond too. I mean, it's gotten to the point where we've had people who applied the first month and we didn't pick them, and they applied the second time we did it, the 3rd month, and we messaged them and we were like, you know what, you're overqualified for this. You have 8, 9 coaches already. You know exactly what you're doing. We're looking for somebody who's a little bit more premature than you've become. So, and that right there empowers them to be like, awesome. And then they just run.
Yeah.
So you mentioned earlier tough love, but I think tough love can sometimes be very difficult for a lot of coaches. I don't want to hurt somebody's feelings or offend them, or I don't want to scare them away. And, you know, I think that's something that a lot of people struggle with. So I see coaching as this, like a coach helps somebody achieve something that they couldn't do on their own, right? So sometimes that entails tough love, and sometimes that entails breathing confidence into that person. So, you know, Steve, you just hit on like expressing confidence in somebody and things like that. But when do you guys know when to use either one of those tools?
We ask permission for tough love because we like to give it tough. Yeah. And if they give us permission, then they don't get so broken down.
Well, especially for our leaders, like when Steve was still working at his corporate job, whenever my girls hit diamond, I'm like, just so you guys know, you always have Steve a message away. Like he will go through your stuff and tell you like, this post sucks. Like, no, it doesn't stick to your brand. Like, but obviously, you know, they have to give us that permission. But for instance, when we see someone on our team that's struggling, or we see like, because we have a team hashtag on Instagram, so I'm able to see what the general thread is of our team. And if I see a lot of posts, I don't like to post quotes. For me, it's kind of like just a lazy way to post something. Like, people want to see you. So when I start seeing like a lot of quotes, that's when I know I need to go to the team page and talk about what makes a good Instagram post. So instead of me being like, okay, these two people's posts really suck today, I go back and say, guys, I get it. I used to post quotes too, and then relate it to how they can change that up and make it a little bit better. But I would say, like, especially my leaders, like we know our coaches' love languages. That's the biggest thing that we go off of. So we know like what they're motivated by. And sometimes like one of my top coaches, like, she just wants me to send her Boxer messages and tell her how much I love her. Our relationship is so mushy-gushy. But she's a freaking rock star. I mean, my team blew it up. And all she wants is just my love. She just wants to know that like, do this for life.
Are you guys hearing like the Transformer like voice right now? Like, Jamie, you sound like Optimus Prime. It's like we got to go get the Megatron or whatever right now. Okay, let's see if it's fixed. So let's hear your melodious voice, one of you guys.
Am I still talking like?
Oh, you're good. You're good. Now you're back to normal.
Oh man. Okay. How many coaches did you have personally before implementing this internship? I don't know how many coaches I had. I had my first business center. I ended last year at 1 star, and I had 7 diamonds on 1 leg. My team was huge, and then I also had a second business center that was 2 star. So I don't remember how many coaches. It was just more so the fact that we ended the year not at Premier, not at Elite, having way more Elite points than necessary, but the rank was not there. So for us, we were like, we want to be an Elite team. Like, we want to show up for our team, represent our team as Elite. So that's what kind of prompted us. It was totally his idea. So I got to give him all the props for this. He's much more like analytical than I am. So it's been awesome.
Okay, so let's do like maybe a few more questions, but I don't want to keep you guys like the whole day. You know, I think we planned on just 30 minutes or so. So we'll answer a few more questions. And, you know, maybe what we can do here is this. 1 second. Sid, do you see any other questions that you feel like we should answer?
I had to get off, so it wasn't recording, but I think I went through most of them.
Okay, so I think one of the other questions that I would have for you guys is, oh, sorry, Sid's got a question.
Sorry, the one that's, how do you get your emeralds to intern their emeralds, or how do you get your diamonds to help their emeralds?
Yeah, is there a specific thing that you do to help your diamonds help their emeralds hit?
This was what we had our last internship. This was the pain point for her. She has 15 active coaches and no emeralds. So for her, it was like, we kind of just thought that her mindset should be keep recruiting and keep posting and keep offering her own little mentorship that she was doing via Voxer, because eventually there's going to be people to run with her. Now she has 1.5 emeralds because she kept recruiting. So instead of her, because for a while she was just staring at these 3 coaches who were ready to work but never talked to her, never responded. So we were just like, well, you can recruit, so keep recruiting. Like, keep on doing that.
The thing is you can never go wrong with recruiting, because you're going to stumble on those people that just don't need you at all. And you don't have to tell them to go to Emerald. They literally read everything the night before they do it. They sign up. And like, if you stop recruiting, you can't find those people. And, you know, there's a lot of people who are interested in with your help and with your mentorship. They can be. And that's kind of where this is all focused on. But if you ever take off the gas of recruiting, you're losing rock stars that you don't even know of. So I think that's the biggest thing is just going by example. That sucks because you can't do it instantaneously. You just know that, you know, when you look back, you're going to have made a lot more emeralds because of it. So we just tell people not to really worry about it. And then for me, I know most of you guys are in this situation, but like for me, going from her working the business to me coming into it, I just share why I signed up as a husband and what I did, you know, as a boyfriend and everything like that. And we have people just get their boyfriends and husbands on that call, and a lot of them will sign up just like, oh, okay. It's crazy. A lot of people don't connect the dots of like the programs that are awesome in this, and they've heard of them. You know, everybody knows Insanity and P90X are super hard to do. And, you know, they might not have heard of Beachbody until this whole thing, but I just get them kind of plugged in on that sense of like, as a guy, you can get great results too. Because they just see so many girl faces doing it. So we'll do a call like that maybe every couple months. We just recorded one for our team too. So that just kind of gets people moving. But I think as far as getting emeralds going, it's just never take your foot off the gas. They'll come.
Cool. I love it. Last question I'd have for you guys here is just discount coach versus building coach. What do you guys do? What are your intentions when you bring somebody on in coaching? One of the things that I absolutely love that you guys talked about is it's about fitness, right? I mean, you've got to toe the line. The product we have to offer is fitness. And if we're not making that a focus, then we're missing the bus, right? We're missing the boat. So like, how do you guys negotiate that?
I'll take this. So basically the way I see it is like, you don't have to work the business. You know, everyone thinks that by signing up, you have to work the business, and we just make people super comfortable. Like, I don't push any discount coaches to be working coaches, because if they don't want to, then they shouldn't. You know, like coaching is something that's, you know, you really are committing to everybody who signs up to you. So if you don't want to do that, don't get involved in it in the first place. And so we just try to get everybody who signs up for whatever reason results and start from there, because the best thing that we can do to get have a discount coach become a full coach is just lead by example, make it cool, make it fun, have everybody, you know, getting results together, and just create a good atmosphere around it. And we have discount coaches that will then be like, I don't want to do this anymore. I got this opportunity staring me in the face. I'm ready to come. And that's how we do it. Because the second you try to like lay that on somebody, it's just, they can take it any which way. And it's, you know, leading by example is the best route to go, I think, with this.
Absolutely. I 100% agree with you guys. Well, I want to thank you guys so much for sharing your leadership tips, guys. Honestly, this is absolutely awesome. And I wanted to close this way. I don't know how many of you guys attended Summit, but when Gary Vee was talking, he was like, you know what? I share all of my tips with everybody, because most people are not going to put it in practice anyway. So I'm not really worried about them, you know, stealing, you know, my share of the market or whatever, because most people aren't going to do anything about it. And, you know, these guys laid out some absolutely phenomenal tips right here, guys. Like, they have put it together. They've walked the walk from the talk they're talking right now. What I'm going to challenge you guys to do today is, when you leave this call, go out and put this stuff in practice. Like, do something about it, right? And I can promise you, as you take action, the reactions you're looking for are going to start to take place. You know, Steve and Jamie had both talked about the fact that when you guys start doing things, like, it doesn't always happen instantaneously. Like the diamond internship, people don't always hit diamond that month, but they do hit diamond, right? So as you guys move forward, as you guys walk away from this call, take the notes that you've taken down and put it into practice and do something about it. And when you do, the results will come. But thank you so much, Jamie, Steve. You guys are awesome. Totally appreciate it. Definitely helpful. Guys, we will post this recording up in the Elite Central page. So if you jumped on a little bit later, looks like we had a lot more people jump on later, you'll be able to catch like the whole call there. So Jamie, Steve, thank you so much for presenting for us today. Everyone else, thanks for jumping on the call, and we'll catch you guys later. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Bye, thanks.
Yeah.